Hey, MCE crew, I hope your day is progressing profitably. Listen, I want to talk to you about something pretty interesting here. Now, back on October 15th of 2019, the World Economic Forum held what they called a live simulation exercise to prepare public and private leaders for pandemic response. Now, the World Economic Forum held that exercise on October 15th, 2019. I want to stress that. And then, coincidentally, a few months later, that very thing that they prepared for actually happened. Okay? What a stroke of luck that they actually prepared for something that went ahead and happened. That doesn't occur often. Well, okay, fine. You may be interested to find out that the World Economic Forum is also going to meet here in a few days, July 9th, 2021, and they're going to talk about preparing for a global cyber attack. Now, you may recall, if you watch this channel, you may recall us doing a video where I suggested that since we'd seen attacks on the fuel infrastructure back with the Colonial Pipeline, we saw the cyber attack on the food infrastructure with the, I believe it was JDS meat processing. I suggested that we need to get ready to prepare ourselves for a cyber attack that affects the financial infrastructure. And of course, you can go back and watch that video. One of the things we talked about doing was making sure you got your statements printed out, because what if you wake up tomorrow morning and everything reads zero? Okay, and how else are you going to prove that you indeed did have money? Having your statements printed out will go a long way toward doing that. Now, because YouTube has certain standards, there's certain language that I'm not going to use. I'm going to go ahead and in the description, I'm going to link to a World Economic Forum video that I want you to watch. Okay, just take a look at that video. It talks about this upcoming meeting on July 9th, 2021. Now, wouldn't it be just really, really suspicious if after this meeting something occurred along the lines of what they're meeting about, the way it did months after or weeks after their October 15th, 2019 meeting, which focused on the spread of a global illness? So what I want to talk about is I want to go a little further with that. And I want to talk about assets that you can actually possess that are not electronic, that are actually tangible. And what would happen in the event that there was a cyber attack that affected the financial infrastructure, and we did indeed wake up one morning and we weren't able to prove that we own the homes that we live in or had X amount of dollars in the bank account. So let's start with what types of assets are not going to be affected by that. Now, of course, gold, silver, these things are tangible. They're not going to be affected. If you got it in your hand, and I'm going to tell you, now, you've got to figure out what percentage of your portfolio should be held in gold and silver or any other precious metal. Some say no more than 10%. I think that's fair. But I will say this: if you hold gold and silver in a fund or in an ETF or something like that, then you're risking that same thing that we started this conversation with. If the fund's information systems are wiped out, then you're not holding that in your hands. You don't have that in an actual safe deposit box or somewhere on your property. So that will be very difficult for you you're in the same position you are with your bank account. Now, let's talk about your mortgage on your house. Let's say you've got your house paid off, or if you don't have your house paid off. If we get into a situation where the point of sale is not operating and, bank accounts are not verifiable, you can't go to an ATM because that's out of whack, you can't go and fill up your car with a card, then cash would become very important in that situation. And so now I'm going to say something here that I'm going to dance around a little bit because I don't know how the YouTube censors will feel about this. But if you're going to have cash on your person or in your home. It's a dangerous world out there in 2021 in America. And so you need to, strongly consider safeguarding whatever it is you have, whatever it is you possess. Because again, if you start to take certain actions, those actions could put you in harm's way if you live in certain areas or if certain people know or suspect what you may have. So enough of that. But cash would be king. Imagine if you walked into a grocery store, it'd probably be pandemonium, but people trying to use their cards and, people saying, well, that's not going to work here because the point of sale system is down and we can't even verify. You can't even verify what you got on your card. So if you whip out 50, then you're walking out of there with merchandise, all other things being equal. Now, of course, in that situation, it might be chaotic. But again, at the end of the day, cash would be king. So, do with that what you will. I'll tell you something that would take a heck of a hit, okay? Bitcoin. How would you verify that you owned Bitcoin? Because it is an asset. It can be an asset that is electronic. It's wholly electronic. So that would be very, very difficult, if not impossible, to transact with in a world where the electronic financial infrastructure has been interdicted or the electrical grid has been interdicted. Now, I suspect that these people over at the World Economic Forum are probably going to be talking about these same kinds of things. So what do we got? Gold, silver, we've got cash. Those things are going to help us out. Bitcoin's going to be pretty useless in the event we have some sort of global cyber attack. I'll tell you another thing. Depending on how long something like that would last, it would put us in a position where we started to assign value to other things. Like there are plenty of places in the world, remote areas, where people don't use money, okay, where wealth is considered to be held in, say, cattle, for example. I know here in America, one thing that might be substituted for money, or at least an exchange method, could be alcohol. Alcohol that you imbibe, because it does have medicinal purposes, and of course, alcohol is something that has proven to be recession-proof. Think about it. Even when they tried to shut down alcohol consumption and trade in the 1920s during the Prohibition, it only made people richer. It heralded the rise of certain mob groups, and they became phenomenally wealthy off of that because there was always demand. So those are some things that I think you need to think about. Now, here's another one. Let's talk about real estate. Real estate is definitely tangible. Now, I don't know how the state or mortgage companies would begin to reconstruct their financial records in the event something like that was held for ransomware or wiped out. I have no idea what the backup systems look like. But again, you should keep records at your home to prove what you own. Okay, so that if there's ever, let's just take it to the furthest extreme. Let's just say that at some point, officials have to actually go around and do like a census to figure out who owns what. If you've got records, it's going to make that a heck of a whole lot easier. Okay, so they're meeting about this, and so I think we should take it seriously. They met October 15th, 2019, and a few weeks later, we started to hear about this strange ailment that was popping up in the Far East, and then it moved around the world. So how fortuitous of them to, did they have any insight? I don't know. But the fact is, on this channel, we pay attention to what the wealthy and well-connected do. We take what little is out there in the public sphere and we take a look at that information and try to glean as much knowledge from it as possible. So I don't think that there's anything wrong with being someone who is prepared. Okay, I don't think that there's anything wrong with wanting to preserve your wealth no matter what happens. Okay, so let's say today you're wealthy. You're sitting on $1 million US, and those dollars are dispersed throughout different investments and whatnot working for you. Well, guess what? We want you to think in several different dimensions. So, in this unpredictable world, if something were to occur where you could not, deal in the unit of exchange that you were dealing in the day before, the US dollar, then you know how to go ahead and be considered wealthy in a new regime where Jack Daniels is the, method of exchange, or goats are the method of exchange, or whatever. Okay, so just there's nothing wrong with, no matter how you feel about this, there's nothing wrong with keeping paper records. When these banks and credit card companies, when your mortgage company says to you, "Hey, go green," we'll just communicate with you electronically. We won't send you an actual bill. No, I would say ignore that request and continue to get statements in the mail on your bank's letterhead, okay, on your brokerage company's letterhead. It's going to be very difficult to say that that was forged or in any way doctored or manufactured if they are sending you that in the mail. So that's what I would suggest. Okay, we're going to watch this situation, and we're going to see if we get more cyber attacks. I certainly hope not, because this stuff could get into the realm of not just being detrimental to your finances, but everything's connected nowadays. It could be detrimental to life. And we certainly don't want to see anybody physically harmed due to the actions of who knows who out there dealing in these cyber attacks. Okay, guys, so a little diversion, but still about money and financial independence, okay, of a different sort. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.